I'm Tom Downey. That is Jimmy Crowther. We're going to break down some NBA rumors right now just before the start of NBA free agency here. And we're going to get things kicked off with a trade that went down, Jimmy. And Enes Kanter going back to the Trailblazers because time's a flat circle.
Yeah, the Boston Celtics have started off the NBA free agency and really kind of, the post-draft offseason with a trade. He opts into his player option, and then he gets sent right away to his old team, the Portland Trailblazers, where he's going to be the kind of backup, I suppose, to Jusuf Nurkic, where, remember, Nurkic and Enes Kanter made a push in the Western Conference Finals as that backup, front court duo. Now, he was really reliable with the Celtics. Celtics fans really did love him. He's a big hustler. Every team that he goes to, they end up loving him. But then they're like, oh, wait, you can't play defense, and they ship him out. And so that's what the Celtics did. Now, Boston didn't get a whole lot in this trade besides a little bit of cap relief now that they got rid of Enes Kanter. They get draft consideration, so future draft picks, in other words, from the Memphis Grizzlies. I would expect pretty heavy protections on that, probably nothing crazy. And the Grizzlies also get Mario Hezonja from the Blazers, and they got the 30th pick. This was made official. The Celtics basically picked Desmond Bane for the Grizzlies, which, by the way, one of the steals of the draft for me. He was, on my board, was number 16.
You were very high on him.
Very high on him. He goes number 30, technically to the Celtics, and later traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think everybody in this trade kind of gets what they want, right? The Boston Celtics, they get off a little bit of a contract of Enes Kanter. The Blazers get another big man because they have two guys already kind of hurt a lot in Zach Collins and Nurkic. And the Grizzlies, they get a young wing that can help them win right away, and then Hezonja is just kind of there.
Still filler, cap, whatever.
Exactly.
All right. So I kind of think the Celtics are plotting something here, specifically at center. So when the season begins for Boston, who is going to be their starting center? Jimmy, what are you thinking here?
I'm thinking they're targeting one of two guys.
Okay.
I think it's either Steven Adams of the Oklahoma City Thunder or Miles Turner of the Indiana Pacers. And as you're currently watching this, we're filming this at 4:30 p.m. Central Time on Friday. Something could have changed. But as of right now, the Celtics starting center is a mix of Robert Williams or Daniel Tice, as they also traded Vincent Poirier, the Flying Frenchman, away to Oklahoma City. So we'll have to wait and see, but you guys can make your predictions in the comment section.
All right, one thing we do know we're going to see happen is Jayson Tatum's about to get the bag here, Jimmy.
He is. This report came out right before kind of free agency opened up. Mark Stein says guys in the 2017 class, including Jayson Tatum, are expected to get their maximum extension, which, good for them getting the bag. And honestly, for the Boston Celtics, you got to hope he signs this because, this is kind of a top 5 guy eventually, at least a top 5 scorer in the league. He's up there in Boston, looking to keep him and build around him at all costs. He and Jaylen Brown are now the heart and soul and really the future of this Boston Celtics team. So it is a no-brainer to give him as much money as he demands because he would demand just as much, if not more, out on the open market at some point.
It's a pretty easy decision there for Boston. Tatum clearly looks like a long-term key franchise piece for the Celtics. Now, our Boston Celtics channel, Jimmy, it is growing rapidly. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. So if you're a Celtics fan watching on our Chat Sports channel, head over to youtube.com/CelticsTV. If you're watching already on that channel, just hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on anything we got coming for you guys. Celtics, Jimmy, I think they're going to make some fun moves here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, it might even be happening today on Friday. Celtics are ready to get rolling, and we're going to have it all covered for you over on that channel with that brand new custom link, baby, youtube.com/CelticsTV.
Let's talk I think what's about to be a former Celtic, Gordon Hayward. Seems like he's on his way out.
It looks that way. There was a Celtics radio guy that actually said he believes that Gordon Hayward has played his last game in a Boston jersey. There are two teams that have really honed in the closest on him. Indiana is still exploring sign-and-trade options for Gordon Hayward right now, and the Knicks remain interested as well. The Knicks have a lot of money to offer, and they got to spend it on somebody. Now, it seemed like a bit of a surprise that Gordon Hayward opted out if you take it out of context, but then you look at the teams
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, $34 million for a guy that's coming off injury, but also still had a pretty solid year at 18 points per game. Now, Atlanta's also shown interest. I also think there's a small chance Boston could end up bringing him back just in a less money, more years kind of role.
Okay.
But I think if you're Boston, your best case scenario is that you end up signing him and trading him to a team like Indiana that could potentially give you back Miles Turner, a guy they have coveted for a long time.
All right, so make your predictions then. Gordon Hayward's next team. Type K for the New York Knicks, H for the Atlanta Hawks, P for the Pacers, or C for the Celtics. Get your votes in. Jimmy, make your prediction for me.
You know what? I think he's going to Indy. I think the writing is on the walls, and he will end up back where his family currently resides in Indiana. So I'd be typing my P for the Pacers, but I could also see a good argument for the Hawks. I don't think he goes to New York.
All right, Celtics fans, there are Boston face masks and, of course, face masks for every NBA team. Head over to chatsports.com/NBA mask, where you can save 30% off on all kinds of NBA face coverings. They got different colors and different styles, fonts, and available, of course, Jimmy, for all the NBA teams, too.
Yeah, no matter who you're a fan of, you want to get back into NBA stadiums. When we get back to the NBA December 22nd, you're going to have to wear a mask. That's chatsports.com/NBA mask. You can get 1, 2 packs of 3 or packs of 4. Super simple gift to get as the holidays are right around the corner, so go pick yours up today.
We do have some Super Chat menu options for you guys today. A $1 Super Chat will answer your question. Don't worry, Jameson and Tyler, we will get to yours in a little bit here. $5 will get it featured on air. We'll actually get it on screen for you guys. $10, I'll do some Red Bull and maybe some Jaeger as well. And Jimmy will do a Bang energy drink. And then $20, you guys can promote yourself. We've got 2,000 plus people watching live right now, and that's still over 25 minutes before free agency actually begins. So if you got an Instagram, a company, a YouTube channel, whatever, $20 Super Chat, or Twitch too. We saw several Twitches during our NBA draft. You guys can promote yourself. $75 Super Chat, and one of us here in the office gets to slap Jimmy. Now, Tibor had a $5 one who says, Ibaka to the Mavs. He's strong, can defend, and has a ring. I don't trust KP will play more than 50% of the games, and Powell is coming back from his own Achilles injury.
I think Ibaka to Dallas. I mean, listen, this is the third question we've already got about it today, and free agency hasn't even opened. I think it is very realistic. I think he is definitely a target for this Mavericks team, but I would say the Mavs are third or fourth on Ibaka's list behind the Lakers, the Nets, and potentially the Raptors as well, a return there. Now, to the trusting that KP is going to play more than 50% of his games, I disagree. I think he will miss that first 2 weeks, maybe, and then he comes back. And then there's Dwight Powell. Listen, he's coming back from the Achilles, but he's 100%, and he's been ready to go. He's going to be just fine. But, yeah, Ibaka on this team, I think can be awesome, but you got to sign him for the right price.
All right, Donovan Mitchell, that's next up here, Jimmy. Seems like he's also about to get paid in a big-time way.
Yeah, that whole 2017 draft class is now eligible to receive a max extension. And Donovan Mitchell, outside of Jayson Tatum, he's probably the most reasonable to get one. I think he absolutely deserves it. And now Utah has looked at Donovan Mitchell as their main guy in the rotation. It's no longer just Rudy Gobert.
Which is the correct decision.
It is. He is an incredible talent. He proved himself in the bubble. You get the right guys around Donovan Mitchell, and I think they're going to be winning a few more playoff series than they already have.
Is that Mitchell-Gobert relationship going to be okay?
I think it is. I think it was overblown. Okay. I think the whole thing was overblown, but I think you got to get a better point guard in there next to him besides Mike Conley. I think Mitchell's a great two-guard. I wouldn't really want him as my main point guard handling the ball.
I like this question you got here. Pick one player to build around long-term. Type JT for Jayson Tatum or type DM for Donovan Mitchell. They're both awesome, young, maybe not full-fledged superstars, but becoming superstars. Yeah. I don't think there's a wrong answer, but which one do you prefer?
I don't think there is either, but simply because Jayson Tatum is just a few years younger.
A lot of JTs in there.
You got to go with Jayson Tatum to build around long-term. Now, right now...
This is a borderline route in the chat.
Yeah, it might be. Maybe this wasn't as good of a question as I thought it was, but maybe you could say Donovan Mitchell's a better player right now overall, but I still lean Jayson Tatum. And then for the future, I'm definitely going Jayson Tatum, just like I see Uncle Drew, Justin, and Christopher all doing in the live chat. Keep shouting those out. Let us know the one guy you'd rather build around from that 2017 draft class. Hey, you know who it's not? Markelle Fultz.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Big ouch. All right, speaking of ouch, the Bucks and the Kings in the Bogdan Bogdanovic trade that was a done deal, but then it turned out there was maybe tampering or whatever, and now Bogdan's not going to go to the Bucks. Jimmy, what the hell happened here?
Yeah, I went from a done deal to a dud deal as this trade has officially fallen through. Now, there were multiple reports coming out that Giannis was actually recruiting Bogdanovic to the Bucks already, which of course is illegal. You're not allowed to do that because of tampering issues, but he did it anyway. And then all of a sudden Bogdanovic was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I never agreed to sign with Milwaukee.
Because he couldn't.
Right, because he couldn't. And it would have gotten him in trouble. So he did the smart thing by saying no. And then all of a sudden, the day that really a bunch of stuff happened, which was on draft day. Or excuse me, it was the day after draft. Ersan Ilyasova gets cut. Well, Ersan Ilyasova was a part of that trade package.
From the money perspective. He was basically essential to it.
So this is dead. The Bucks are not getting Bogdanovic. And the scariest thing here, if you're the Bucks, is you're looking at Giannis as a free agent next year, who you just said that you got one of his buddies, and then you just squandered that opportunity. That's the scariest thing. Now, the Bucks are still in a good position because they still have Drew Holiday. You know, they keep a little bit more depth now with DJ Wilson and Dante DiVincenzo staying on the roster. But those guys are both step backs from Bogdan Bogdanovic. Now, this
big upgrade over Dante in particular.
Yes, especially because you can put Bogey at the 2 and move Chris Middleton to the 3, and then your starting 5 is complete, but that's not the case anymore, so I don't know what they're going to do. So I had to cue this one up because
this is Hater Jimmy, baby.
This is Hater Jimmy
This is
mode.
what this is.
I'm taking a big old laugh at the Bucks and their front office for what they've done here. They have butchered something that looked so good, and if you would have been patient and you would have waited just a couple more days, you could have had him. But you didn't wait, you got greedy, and then you lost him, and now things are awkward with Dante DiVincenzo and DJ Wilson. So I'm typing LOL because the Bucks have squandered a great opportunity, and now you're in peril of losing one of the best players in the league right now in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who, by the way, is eligible for his max extension, and he might not sign it just because of this deal. Now, that might be an overreaction, but I'm Hater Jimmy right now, so I'm hating on everything. Type your LOLs to laugh at the Bucks.
All right, in your 2020, of course, update, the Toronto Raptors are no longer the Toronto Raptors, at least for this upcoming season. They're going to go down to Tampa because it's just a weird year, man.
Yeah, so Toronto, aka or Canada, basically was like, no, we can't host the Raptors. We can't host that big of a sporting event right now. It's just not going to work. So at least for the beginning of the 2021 or 2020-2021 season, they won't be there. Now, there is a chance that they go back in the later half of the year. But think about it. It
sucks for the players, man.
It sucks for the players. It sucks for fans up in Canada. And you think about free agents, they have a lot of them. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet. Does this factor into their decision?
There's a lot of uncertainty as just where the hell you're going to be living for a year or a year plus. That's at least concerning. I'm sure if they get enough of an offer from a money perspective and, going to Florida, not the worst place to be. But also,
when people are like, oh, I'm going to go vacation in Florida, nobody ever says they're going to Tampa. Ever. It's like,
I don't think that's true.
I've never gone to Tampa. That's not the part of Florida that I go to personally. But in other, I guess you could be in worse places. Now, another interesting note about the Raptors, they were that first team in the Orlando bubble. So they spent some time in Florida.
Look, man, Canadians love to head down to the Tampa, Florida area. I know that is true. There are a heck of a lot of Tim Hortons down there, so it's fine. All right, so let me know in the comments, where should the Raptors have played? I already see several Torontos in there, which, just wasn't in the cards here, but get your votes in.
But you could have gone Seattle. You could have gone Louisville.
We could have brought back the not Supersonics.
Exactly. Who was the other?
It should have been Seattle.
There was another city Kansas City. Shout out to producer Brett. He really wanted the Raptors to play in Kansas City for a little bit. So shout it out. What city should they have sent the Raptors to? Should it have been Tampa? Let us know.
Let's talk Scary Terry here. Could he be on the move already, Jimmy? What's going on here with the Hornets and the Clippers?
It was reported that Terry Rozier was discussed in a trade about going to the Los Angeles Clippers, as they are currently looking to upgrade at the point guard position. And Terry Rozier would have been a little upgrade for them there. I like Rozier. I think he got obviously buried and overpaid on a bad Charlotte team. He was the Timofey Mozgov of this past free agency, but he he actually put up good numbers. And now the Hornets have
not efficient numbers.
Yeah. The Hornets have LaMelo Ball. They don't need Rozier. They'd rather go LaMelo and Devontae Graham. That's a brighter future than LaMelo and Terry Rozier.
So what will LaMelo Ball be in the NBA? Type S for star, type G for a good player, or type B for a bust. I'm not convinced he's going to be a full-fledged star, but I do think he's going to be a good NBA player, Jimmy.
I lean somewhere in between good and star. I think there is a real chance he'll make a couple, if not, multiple all-star teams in his career. Great passer, 6'8" point guard. You can't teach that. So I'm high on LaMelo Ball. I think they hit a home run taking him at 3 because I had him as my second best prospect in the draft.
All right, we are trying to get to 225,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. We're at 220K right now. We have almost 3,000 people watching live right now as NBA free agency about to officially begin. If you want consistent updates as we get further and further along in NBA free agency, as the trade rumors continue to percolate, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Now, speaking of those trade rumors, what is the latest, Jimmy, around Russell Westbrook and his future?
It felt like we weren't hearing a lot, and then all of a sudden there was a report out today that the Magic and the Rockets discussed a deal based around Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon. Now, nothing really substantial came of the talks. I think they ended up falling apart before they gained traction.
I think Orlando went no.
I think both teams. I mean, both teams could have gone no.
Like
in all honesty,
for Houston, actually,
I do too.
If Russ really wants out, that's a pretty good
Right.
return on investment.
Right, and we'll see. It depends on what the Magic were demanding, or the Rockets were demanding. But doesn't look like he's going to Orlando. But it would have been an interesting trade.
So who gets traded first here? Will it be Russell Westbrook or James Harden? Plenty of rumors around both of these star players as Houston is on the verge of having to enter a full-fledged rebuilding process. Get your votes in here. W for Westbrook or H for Harden. Let's talk Anthony Davis and the Lakers here. He's, of course, opting out of his player option. No surprise there. But he's going to go back to L.A., right?
That's what it looks like, at least. He's expected to receive a max offer once free agency opens. A max offer in terms of money, not necessarily in terms of years, because he could wait a little bit longer. He could sign one of those 1+1s, and then playing a couple extra years makes him eligible for the Supermax with the Los Angeles Lakers, so he can make his own money. He did decline that option, so he's definitely getting paid more than $29 million. But if you're a Laker fan, don't worry. AD's coming back. I don't think you have anything to worry about there.
So will the Lakers repeat in this upcoming season? Why for yes and for no? Jimmy, where are you going with here?
I went with the Warriors before Klay's injury.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers have to be picked as the favorites to win now, but also Rondo, Bradley, KCP, they're all free agents. Those are three pivotal guys. Dwight Howard, all pivotal guys in their rotation. So we'll have to wait and see, but we got some more Laker news right here, or Lakers rumors, I guess I should say. What's going on here?
Dwight Howard upset, apparently. He says he's done playing for free. I would love to live in a world where I get paid a couple million, and I think that's for free to play a game.
Yeah, he says he's not, or excuse me, he doesn't say it, but reports are coming out from Brian Windhorst that he's not getting any, quote, lucrative offers.
Well,
no, duh. I mean, come on.
Imagine getting almost $2.6 million and going, yeah, that's playing for free.
Listen, the full mid-level for Dwight Howard, the full mid-level exception is $9 million. I'm not committing $9 million to Dwight Howard at this point in his career. Give him $2 to $5 million and call it a day. So I'm typing my L for less here, but what do you guys think? Should Dwight Howard get more or less than the mid-level? I think he should get more than the minimum, less than the mid-level.
I think that's fair. He turns 35 in a couple of weeks.
Golly.
He's old, man. He's an on the decline center. He's not prime Dwight Howard anymore.
No,
and
not even close.
To be fair, it was different this year.
Oh, yeah.
We'd gone like 5, and I made a lot of jokes about it, like 5 years in a row of this year was going to be different for Dwight Howard. It was different this year. But I'm not paying him more than the mid-level, and I see a lot of L's coming in. Keep your votes coming. I agree with you guys. Let's go on to Fred VanVleet. Could the Detroit Pistons add him?
So the report out of Detroit is that they have, quote, mild interest in Fred VanVleet. And I think they would have been a little bit more interested if the draft didn't go the way it did for Detroit, because they had a home run draft. You look at their new probable lineup, I'm kind of just guessing here because it's probably not going to be 3 rookies and a second-year guy in the same lineup. But
at the end of the year.
But at the end of the year, it just might be. Killian Hayes, I think, comes in. I think you have to start him right away. Sadiq Bey is a guy they got at 19, which was a steal for me. I think you could see Isaiah Stewart start if they don't bring back Christian Wood. And then my boy Sekou Doumbouya, I think, should get the start absolutely 100%. And then you got Blake Griffin, who I think will be on the move. But this is a team that now, and also remember Derrick Rose is on the in the backup role. You don't need Fred VanVleet, so this interest is said to be mild for the Pistons.